be able to catch a break this season. Every season, basically.
Yeah, no kidding.
We have Mary choosing some strangers over her boys. We have Lucifer still being alive, and from what we get from the finale spoilers, what's released anyway, he obviously loses Dean in the end. Because I don't know something, but Jensen is playing a new character, so I want to know if Sam will have at least one win before the season ends.
Yes.
Can you tell me
Sam has a definite victory before the season ends. I'm trying to use my best poker face about what's going on. But yeah.
You can come whisper it to my ear.
Right into the microphone. Yeah, Sam gets to experience something that he's longed for a long time. As with anything supernatural, it comes with there are two edges to that blade, you know. But yes, Sam experiences a little victory, so hopefully it lasts through next year. Thank you. And thanks for reminding me about Mom, like, not like. Good morning.
What are some of the, I was wondering, what are some of the funny things that you've done for your kids, which before you had them, you didn't think you would do?
Again, this is going to seem like I've already said it. I haven't chased lizards in a while, and I'm really good at chasing lizards. And I'll wake up and I'll fly in from Vancouver and be exhausted and try and sleep a few more hours of sleep. And my boys are waking up like, "Dad, let's go find some lizards." And I'm like, "All right." And then I get out and I forget the fun it was. I'm just like chasing a lizard, and it's so weird. A lot of that sort of stuff where you get to fully enjoy what it was like to be a kid again, you know? And I tell them, like, "Tom, Chef, listen, your dad was like a world-class lizard catcher." And I mean it. So I think just big hands or something. I don't think I ever imagined like waking up on a Saturday morning really tired to go outside and chase bugs, but that's what I'm doing. And like, do you have roly-polies? You know what that word is? Or doo-doo bugs? You call them doo-doo bugs or roly-polies? No? It looks like a little ball, like a little shell ball, so we like to catch those too, but they're called roly-polies, but they're also called doo-doo bugs. I think they eat doo-doo, or they live on it, and so they want to catch as many as, oh my God. Chef is a very funny kid, and so we had an Easter egg hunt at our house, and I, in the morning, went and caught a bunch of roly-polies and put them in an Easter egg and hid it. He was thrilled. I knew he would rather have like a bunch of roly-polies than candy, so he chased around. I was like, "Chevy, come here, Chef, let's go over here." And I take him to a bush where no one else is gonna find it. And I was like, "Look!" And he gets it. He opens it up. He's like, "Roly-polies!" He was thrilled. He was running around, and that was his favorite. You know, there's like candy in the other ones, and he wanted bugs. I guess that's a strange thing to do, but it was a lot of fun. Yeah, thank you.
So, sorry if I stumble on my words, but a lot of people, I know a lot of people in here will do, have tattoos that relate to the show, or even just you guys in the cast. And I was just wondering how it makes you feel knowing that, you know, even after the show ends, conventions end, all that kind of stuff, that people want a part of you guys with them for the rest of their lives, and I just wondered what you thought about that.
I love it. I mean, I'm flattered that I'm some part of it, you know, but I think if somebody's passionate about something and they want to make a commitment to that thing, whether it's as a friend or as a spouse or with a tattoo, I love the idea that I get to be a part of something that inspires passion. It's going to be a part of my life forever too, you know? In more ways than one. So I really enjoy that. And I also love tattoos. I don't have one yet, you know? I think largely because it takes a long time to cover it up in the morning, you know? Like when Alex has like 100 tattoos or something, so he'll be there out before we are getting covered up, which is awesome. But I'm like, I don't want to wake up any earlier than I have to. So, but I love it. And if somebody wants to express their passion or commitment in that way, then I think it's really cool. And I think a lot of the tattoos are really beautiful. So great. If it's meaningful to somebody, then I'm all for it.
And just before I go, last weekend you wrote out one of my favorite lyrics, just tell yourself I'll be okay, and I just wanted to thank you for doing that because I got it done.
Anytime, no way.
That's alright.
Did it hurt?
Not really. It was alright actually.
You're a lot tougher than I am. Yeah? Very cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I still love your shirt.
Thank you. So, not specifically relating to Supernatural, but in general, narratively speaking, do you prefer a story to end with all loose threads tightly wrapped up, or do you like to leave a few questions unanswered?
I enjoy, maybe it's the OCD in me, I enjoy completion, you know? And I love, did y'all read the Harry Potter books? Yeah. I love when things start coming together. And I'm going, oh my God, I remember that. So I prefer the former. I understand that sometimes there will be questions left unanswered. I think that's inevitable anyways. You can complete a storyline and still have a question. You know, you can still have a curiosity or a wonder about what else might have been, if nothing else. So I prefer the former for sure. I prefer tying up the. What about y'all? Yeah? Okay. Which is why I think Sam and Dean should die. Thank you. I mean it. But we can go back in time and do a movie. We can do like prequels and stuff like that. I know. All right. Maybe I'm an outlier, but do it. Just leave the car. Fair enough. Thank you for your question.
Thank you.
Is that real?
What, this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. What did you hurt?
Oh, it's okay. I fractured my elbow. I fell from a bike. It feels already better, so
Bummer. Sorry.
thanks. So thank you for being here. Thank you so much. I was wondering if you were to take another job on set instead of being the actor, what would you want to do?
Not a stuntman, because they are. My long-time stuntman. I can't say exactly what happened or why, but he was stunting somebody else in the finale. He fractured his foot and had to continue working for like 8 more hours with a fractured foot. We didn't know until later. They iced his foot, so certainly not that. Because we've had a few, broken clavicle, a concussion, a fractured foot. So not stunt. Oh, God.
Even the editing or the post-production, it doesn't have to...
You know what? This is a weird... I think I'd like to be a casting director. And that sounds weird, but I feel like... What's the thing those who can't do teach or whatever, which I think is horribly insulting, and my mom's a teacher. But I feel like I'm not the best actor on the planet, but I can really tell when somebody is super talented. Like we'll rehearse a scene, and I'll be like, that person's great. And then, they'll win an Emmy because they're sterling. And I'm like, I told you. So I feel like there have been people on the show that have had even minor roles, and I've been like, that person is really good. Like, that person's really, really talented and present. And then a couple years later, they have their own TV show. They're leading in a movie or something. Alden Ehrenreich. I said it from day one. And he and his mom and I emailed for a while because he hadn't worked ever and he was trying to get into it. And I was like, I'm this 23-year-old kid, 23-year-old kid. So they were asking advice. And so we kept in touch for a little bit. but I was like, there's something, there's some look in his eye or something where I could just tell he had something, and I was Han Solo. Good on him, by the way. But yeah, so I feel like I'd like to be involved in casting. But that having been said, I would be awful at telling somebody they're not right for the job, you know? But you did a great job, I'll see you later, you know? I have a hard time trying to imagine that I'm gonna squash somebody's dreams or something. So maybe just off in the distance watching, like, they're not good, they're good. I feel like that's something that does interest me. Yeah, get well.
Hey Jared.
Hi. That was just strange.
Very happy to see you, so thank you so much for coming today. And I have another question about the tattoos. I was wondering, have you ever, and the rest of the SPN cast members, have ever thought about doing SPN related tattoo, like the matching tattoo?
Yes, I have thought about it, and we have thought about it and talked about it. I think in a different life of mine, I probably have, 20 tattoos.
That's a lot.
It is a lot. It's only difficult because in my side of the job, if I have a tattoo that says SPM, for example, and I go get a job somewhere else, then that tattoo is Jared's, not Sam's, nor is it the next character's, right? So it's just more, I try to be as much of a blank slate as possible when I come into, even when I play a different character on Supernatural, I don't try and play it like Sam playing a character. I literally try and approach it as if I'm auditioning to play a different character on a different show or a different movie. And I try and make it as different as possible. There's been Soulless Sam or Gadriel or Lucifer. It's hard, or it's difficult, because there's been a lot of Sam. I've been on TV a lot as Sam, so there are going to be idiosyncrasies that are Jared's that bleed into the characters I play. But I try and keep a really, really blank slate and open mind in all aspects of life, frankly. But especially with my career. So maybe when I retire and walk away from it all and can just be Jared for the rest of my years, maybe then I'll do it. But fingers crossed. Yeah, thank you so much.
Fine. First of all, I would like to apologize my bad English because I'm French and I'm very nervous.
Well, you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I would like to thank you for your honest information campaign, because it helped me a lot 3 years ago. My question is about Jen, because I'm a single mom. I know she's not, but she lives mostly alone with the kids.
Yeah, for sure.
And how is she feel this situation to stay alone with?
I think it's difficult. How many kids do you have?
Just one.
How old?
5.
Awesome. I'm right. I have a 6 and a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old, but I'm right around that 5-year-old age. It's a fun time, as you know.
Yeah.
It's difficult. I mean, as you know, I'm not there a lot, and I think when we finished the season, just as an example, we finished filming on April 20th at like 4 or 5 in the morning in Vancouver, and the wrap party was that night, and we hadn't been in a while to a wrap party because we usually hustle away and go back home. So I stuck around. I didn't get home until April 21st, but I hadn't been there since April 1st. So for 20 days, they hadn't seen their dad other than on FaceTime. And Jen hadn't really had help. Luckily, we're fortunate enough to be able to afford for help, for additional childcare, with whether it's a babysitter or a nanny or something. So it's really difficult, and I commend you on being able to do it. Jensen and I, because he's in the same situation with Daniil, we say this all the time. Whenever we're flying back from Austin to Vancouver, we're like, ugh, thank God I can get back to work so I can rest. I'm not kidding. And work is not easy. It's not it's not a super, it's a very fun job, and parts of it are very easy, but it's also a big commitment. But literally, it's more restful to be in Vancouver filming 16-hour days than to be chasing around a 5-year-old. So bravo to you and your wonderful English, and very lucky child. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
This question was kind of similar to the other one, but I hope that's okay. So you've been in so many cons. You've answered a lot of questions. So I was wondering if there was some question that you got so many times that you already have an automatic answer, or you're like, oh, here it comes again. I don't know.
No, great question. I don't know, and I feel like sometimes, and perspective changes. You know, if you had asked me 9 years ago at the first Jibcon a question about Sam, the answer would have been very different than what it is today. They both would have been honest answers, but they would have been different because of where I am in my life, where Sam is, and who Sam is has also changed and developed and progressed and grown. So I mean it. Like, this is a very, for me, for all members of the cast, it's a very enlightening experience to come to these because you get interesting questions, and as somebody who's really passionate about what I do for a living, it makes me better at my job, and I enjoy it. It's fun. Yeah, I don't think there's been any question that I'm bored with by any means.
That's great.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.